No idea.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the No Idea podcast, where we're coming live to you from the No Idea Man Cave, and we are super excited because it has been a while. And no, we haven't forgotten about each and every one of you. We've just been super busy. So if you are watching this, there's three of us today. If you're listening, there's three of us. Over here is my brother, Adam. I'm Aaron. And Adam, why don't you just kind of throw it out there, who's sitting between us?
So we have a local legend, regional legend, I'd even say, Bimbo Gifford from Bimbo Skunk Lures.
Yes.
So, Bimbo, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
We've tried a few times, had to cancel out. One was a snowstorm we chickened out on, and schedules finally aligned. So, thanks a ton for taking out the time.
Oh, my pleasure.
And being here for everything.
As long as you got a lot of beer here.
Yeah, we got tons. So, again, if you're tuning in, if you haven't yet subscribed, we'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to podcasts, our podcast, wherever you consume your podcast, whether it's Spotify or it's on Apple iTunes, whatever it is, just subscribe to our podcast, if you will. That would be awesome. But again, you can watch on YouTube or you can listen. So we are so glad you are tuning in. So here we go. Adam, where the hell have you been?
Where have I been?
Where
have you been?
Last episode was me, because I'm pulling the weight 100%. It was me, and I was walleye fishing about a month and a half ago, and that was about it. Where have you been?
Working. Spring's a bad time for me.
I know. We are really excited because what would you say, Adam? We're just over 2 years. We have over 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, so thank you to everybody for subscribing.
Hit 2,000?
Yeah. Well, we're at 1975 right now, but by the time, people tune in, who knows? We'll be at 2,000.
Balls again, do I?
No bull testicles. But I think so. 2 years running now, and I think we're kind of at a crossroads where we're kind of thinking about what direction we're going with the channel. So share with them some idea or some of the exciting news. Like, you just recorded something all weekend. It's pretty cool. We're looking forward to that.
We have some new episodes coming out that we are going to launch segments that we call small town sportsmen, where we feature the I don't want to say average Joe, but just your average locals that we know, that we grew up by.
Yeah.
We grew up around you, and that have a very unique skill, a very unique passion for the outdoors, and share that passion with us. That can also offer some skills, but also on top of that, we also want to take and expand and visit some bait shops, those stores, those local businesses that also outfit guys like Aaron and I. Aaron and I went up this winter, and we went ice fishing in Barron, and just out of the clear blue, I had to stop at a couple bait shops on the way. One to get bait, and then the other to get beer because we forgot it at the first bait shop. So we want to feature those small town places and people that can share their experiences and passion with us, because that is truly what makes the outdoors. You talk about going to a opening tier camp, opening fishing, and what is it that makes it? It's those people. It's all that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you one thing, Aaron and I grew up in the outdoors. We have a passion for it. We did a lot of things kind of surface level, but we never were really great at any of it. And this is our opportunity to meet people like you, Bimbo, but also just got done shooting a couple episodes with a few other people that you're going to see some really unique stuff. And we got a lot of stuff planned, a lot of really cool stuff planned, from bait shops to our locals that are going to take us on some excursions.
But still doing reviews. We absolutely love reviews. So those who have been asking for more reviews, that's coming. For those who have been asking, where are our podcasts? Well, here you go. So we hope to get into some consistent podcasting now. So that's kind of where we've been. Adam, you still drinking White Claw?
Yep.
Today I have something really cool. I'm still going to be a Busch Latte guy, but I found this for those who are not living in Wisconsin and you don't know this is a Wisconsin thing, but brandy old fashions are a thing in Wisconsin. It's a Midwest thing. And so now I found New Belgium Drink Wisconsinably, damn good brandy old fashioned in a can. So I'm going to sip this right in front of Bimbo. What's your go-to drink?
Rum and Coke.
Rum and Coke.
Yeah. Or beer.
Or beer.
Or Bloody Marys.
Or Bloody Mary.
Or whatever's in front of me.
And cold.
And cold and free.
Bimbo, do you feel like you fit this mold?
Oh, I'm sure I fit like gloves right in here. Especially in between you guys.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. All right, so a segment in our podcast episodes is you can't make this shit up. And so we want to share with you maybe one or two articles, news that you just can't make up. And the first one comes, it's actually a pretty sad one. This is a mother and a son. And the son was 22 years old, just to set this up. He's 22 years old. His mother and his son were out they were out hiking. And the mother saw a cub and convinced her son to shoot the cub. They shoot the cub, it dies, and they go home, wait a while, they come back to recover the carcass, and another cub returned. And they thought that was their first cub that they shot, so he shot that one thinking it was the other one. But here's the best part. They got their asses handed to them. Over $20,000 in fines.
Wow.
5 different felonies were handed out to both the mom and the son. But man, talk about some bonding time, huh?
Yeah, that was wonderful.
I mean, here's a question. We always do this. We always talk about like poaching and all that stuff. But I have never once like looked at a deer when, you know, in the up north here when you can go shining in the fall and stuff. Never once does it cross my mind, hey, I should bring a 22. Yeah, I mean, I just don't. That's probably why we're here, and they've got
Probably from the
felonies.
big city somewhere.
Yeah, but man, I just
Make it up.
can't make that shit up. Adam, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no. It's not that difficult to do right things. I don't know.
Well, you look at it.
It also is. I also know you say probably from the big city somewhere. Yeah, I also know a lot of morons from the back country where they play banjos and shit, and they're just dumb or cracked up on something. So I mean, it is what it is. People are dumb wherever you go, and it's just not that difficult to not be an idiot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Stories like that are stupid.
All right, here's one I want to share with you, and this is some good stuff. This is some good shit. When you think about in Wisconsin here, what was it, about a year and a half ago, we had our first wolf hunt in a while, and they set the quota at like 250, right? I think like that or something like that, thinking it would take some time to get to 250. Well, I think they had to shut it down within like 5 days or something because they got so many. So there's a state in the United States that is planning to kill 700 wolves. On Thursday, this was 2 weeks ago, on Thursday, the Idaho Fish and Game Commission approved a revised draft for gray wolf management, outlining they want to go from 1,200 to 500 animals. In the new plan, this was reviewed by Meat Eater, and we'll link the article down in the show notes, but it hasn't been yet released. The Idaho Fish and Game lays out a strategy by increasing hunting efforts through monetary incentives and authorizing the lethal removal of both individual wolves and entire packs in response. And this really has a lot to do with livestock conflicts. And I think it's funny how it's kind of a hot button topic here in Wisconsin, but I think if you talk to any hunter, anybody who's out in the woods hunting, we would say, yeah, we've got some issues with wolves that I don't think we're fully addressing and so forth. But here was an interesting thing in this article. Wolf populations are hard to control because they're highly, Adam, what's this word? Fecund. F-E-C-U-N-D. Fecund. Do you know what that means?
This would be a fun game to play. Fecund.
Fecund. It means they have lots of offspring. So, wolves, they say, even if humans kill 29% of a wolf population in a year, the population won't decrease.
So that's why they talk about pack control, though.
Yep.
And eliminating packs.
Yep.
Not just killing wolves.
In some cases, populations could remain stable in the face of up to 45% human-caused mortality. Wow. Let that sink in. So when we say, hey, we're going to let 250 tags, I mean, that's man. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they how it happens, because they say they have a booming population of wolves.
Would you say that is this? I don't know a ton about state by state plans with wolves. Do you, offhand, would you think this is the most aggressive wolf plan?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I absolutely. Yep. The wolves boils down, the population boom boils down to the inability of Idaho hunters to harvest enough wolves to keep the population in check, which is very fascinating. Again, when you go back to thinking how we can control it, but most times it's locked up in courts and then you can't hunt them and stuff. So it'll be interesting, and it would just be nice if some state could figure it out where we can move forward in this whole wolf hunt debate. And what was it? Endangered. It was considered an endangered species, and at one time. So, have you ever gone wolf hunting?
No.
No.
No. I've never even applied for a tag.
Coyote hunting?
No.
Neighbor's dog hunting?
No.
Do you hunt?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love hunting.
You love venison?
Oh, yeah.
Bear?
I like bear better than venison.
Really?
By quite a bit.
Okay. Nice. All right. So let's move on to the
We're not going to talk more about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
No,
if you want to talk more.
No. I can't stand, it's still the, you go to a Northwoods bar, you go to any bar from Eau Claire on north, and they all of a sudden turn into a biologist and ecologist and all this kind of crap.
Yeah.
Or again, with people like that, the sun setting and the sun rising becomes political. So instead of working collaboratively with the people that actually know what the hell they're talking about, not some dude sitting at a bar being like, 15 years ago you were drunk off your ass. You don't remember how many deer you actually saw. So it actually working together. I'm really interested with the notes you talked about, Aaron, in there about the actual pack control, because that makes a shit ton of sense.
Yes,
right?
it
That
does.
makes sense.
Yes, it
Actually, if you eliminate a pack or two to control it, not just eliminate wolves, because one dog is going to produce 6 times more.
Yeah.
So I just thought we were going to go more on that.
Well, and one of the things, we should get a biologist on. This would be interesting, because I truly want to do a comparison, because it seems like I would call it, weak argument, or the lazy argument for hunters when they say, we see no deer. Well, it's the wolves.
Yeah.
Well, is it the wolves, or is it just piss poor hunting? You're not a good hunter. Is it because you haven't scouted? Is it other reasons? Is it because, bear, right this time, we're at the time of this recording, it's the end of May, and they say bear decimate deer right now because they're hungry and they're dropping the little fawns.
Yeah, the bear and the bobcat.
Yeah.
And it takes 7 years to get a bear tag.
Yeah, right? 7 years. So it'd just be very fascinating to see, because I'm sorry, if I'm a wolf and if I'm in this area and I'm a deer, I'm gone. I'm not going to hang around. So it's not so much that they're killing the deer as are they just, if they're in the vicinity, deer know it and deer are gone.
Well, the wolves will follow them then, know what they do.
Yeah.
Or they'll just sit around and go after the livestock that are basically sitting ducks in a field.
Or the farmer's dogs.
Or the farmer's dogs. Or Bimbo's neighbor's dogs. One of the two. So, all right. Bimbo Gifford from Cameron, Wisconsin. I just want everybody to know, when he pulled up, my kids were out front. They were selling lemonade. on the electrical box in our front yard. So, and he asked my son what grade he was in, and my son said, "I'm in 3rd grade." And Bimbo's like, "I was the biggest kid in 3rd grade for 3 years in a row." So my question is, were you in 3rd grade for 3 years, or
Yes.
were you okay? And I'm like, that's how Bimbo introduced himself to my kids out front. It was awesome. So you're from Cameron
Cameron all my life.
all your life.
Yeah.
Describe Cameron for the listeners who don't know where Cameron is.
50 miles north of Eau Claire. It's a wonderful community, real tight knit. Not as much now because, we've had so many, I want to call them outsiders, move in. But wonderful place.
People that don't want to live in Rice Lake.
Yeah, well, they move in and then they want to get a grocery store and a tavern and a church at our end of town where it's just a residential area. So, but no, it's a really wonderful community.
Yeah.
So what's your tie with excellence? So our father's a pastor up there, and
Correct.
you know my father well, and that's kind of our
Right.
connection.
My grandma was a Vanessa from Exland. So, and when my mother was young, they lived up there. And I have 3 brothers with places up there, plus myself, and a sister.
So you spent time up in Exland.
More time there than Cameron now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you watched the Exland Braves play?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch Aaron and I play?
I remember when you played.
Okay, so who was the better athlete, Aaron or me?
Oh, Aaron was by long ways.
He was a player.
Yeah, I was a manager. But Exland's the choke capital of the world.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
It used to be awesome. Now between the cricks, they used to manage cricks.
Yep.
And plant fish, do stream management. None of that's done now. I believe all the money goes down south. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good old. Bimbo? Is that your God-given name?
close enough.
Okay.
When I was born in 1952, Jim Reeves had a song out, "Bimbo, Bimbo, Where You Gonna Go, Yo?" Google it. It's a cute song about this wonderful little boy and all this. So it is. And my aunt went to the hospital and visited my mother and I, and said, "He looks like a little Bimbo," and it stuck. And even teachers in school, that's all everybody calls me is Bimbo. A lot of them don't even know my real name.
Will you share your real name?
Dan.
Dan.
Yes.
I like Bimbo better.
Yeah.
You don't look like a Dan.
Yeah. No. I look like a Bimbo's right.
So that was right.
I didn't say that. So.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your outdoor background, hunting, fishing, all that kind of stuff.
Well, we grew up right across from the swimming pool, and the swimming pool also had fish in it. So we would go down there fishing. Brothers and I, of course, when 12 years old, we got to go to a hunting camp. And we hunted everything imaginable other than wolves.
Yeah.
But grew up with a shotgun in one hand and a fishing pole in the other.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
So at some point in time, though, there was a fly tying kit, right, under a Christmas
When
tree?
I was 16, I got a fly tying kit for Christmas.
Okay, and is that what spurred the Bimbo Skunk?
Yes, that's got me going because we used to walk to the local watering hole, and not the kind you guys frequent, but one where there's fish. And we'd go there and fish. Well, I would tie up a couple different flies. If they worked, fine, I'd improve on them, try to. And if they didn't work, I'd just throw them away. And ultimately came up with the Bimbo Skunk.
The Bimbo Skunk. So, all this, folks, all this can be found on his website. That's bimboskunk.com.
Correct.
And we'll link that in the show notes down below. So you got into fly tying. You were making these things. When did you finally land on one that you said, "Holy shit, this is good stuff right here"?
Quite a few years ago, and just my brothers and I would use it. We wouldn't tell nobody, and people would say, "Look at their catching them." I just, you're screwing around, and when somebody starts tying with a new kit, they will not tie 2 flies the same. They'll tie 100 flies, and they'll all be different. Well, that's what I started out, but then as we found out what works better, and I actually discovered a couple things by accident. Mine, I actually have a patent and a trademark on it. And I ran out of black thread, so I started using red. And I found out that red around the thorax entices fish better. And then I got sloppy when I cut the thread off. You'd have to wrap the whole hook and cover it to make it so the stuff doesn't slide. Well, I'd leave a tail out there by accident and found out that works good. So a couple things are accident, and I can't take all the credit.
So it's basically decades of fine-tuning this bait
Exactly.
to get to what you have today.
Yes.
Which is on the shelves across the country, which we'll talk about in a little bit here.
And I want to back up for a second. So to speak the language of non-Midwestern people, you said a while back. We know what a while back means. Are you
that
talking
like 10
15
years
years,
ago?
30 years?
I'm 70
40
years old. I started tying at 16. You do the math.
16.
Okay. So,
Yes.
because I have in-laws in California, Florida. We have people that listen to this overseas.
Over in Germany.
Wow.
And so to hear you say a while back, I mean, we know what you mean. We know what you mean. But to give them a picture, that's a long time ago.
So you started tying when you were 16, but this hasn't been your profession, right?
No, I'd worked at a factory, and then I worked at Lampert's for quite a few years. But then I was in construction, building bridges for quite a few years in buildings with Murphy and Johnson. And
Aren't you a volunteer firefighter?
yes, I just told them at the last meeting to find somebody to replace me.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that?
I'm in my 55th year.
Oh
Jesus.
Yeah.
So what do you get, like a pen or like a bookmark or something?
I'll
every
probably
20
get a
years?
bookmark, yeah.
Something like that. So along those lines, I want to talk about this because I think it touched me when I saw it. There was a photograph. There was a fire in Cameron on a really cold day,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And there's a photograph that's pretty famous. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it was about 55 below with the wind chill. And we had this fire, and it was a house fire, and everything just froze up. When we'd squirt water in, it would come out up above and come down as pellets. Well, we finally got it out, and we're mopping up, and I wanted to talk to Mitch about something, the fire chief, and I'm the assistant chief. And I said, Mitch, come here. And he stepped out of the garage into the sun, and all his whiskers just glistened. I says, hold it, I got to get a picture. So I had somebody, my gloves are frozen solid. So I had somebody pull them off. I reached in my pocket, I took a couple pictures, and I just stuck it back in. Well, we got back to the fire hall. I went and got some pizzas for the guys, and we put stuff away and was warming up. And I put it on Facebook that we had a house fire, and our chief thought it was a splash park. And I just did it as a joke. And all of a sudden, my son called me that night, and he said, Dad, this is going viral. People started sharing it. And I mean, like before midnight, there was over 1,000 shares on it. And then it started hitting the news markets. And I was getting simultaneous calls from ABC, NBC, all of them the next morning, permission to use it.
Yeah.
I got calls from Australia, London, all over the country.
That is awesome.
But it's pretty neat. And then Folgers used it as their advertisement.
And so I'm looking at it right now, and we'll share this on our socials as well, the picture of it. And it is just, I mean, everything wrapped up into one from,
Yep.
the small town volunteer firefighter.
Right.
The climate that you deal with as a firefighter, it's just such a unique picture. And
Yes, it is. When I saw that, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
All right, so back to your passion then, aside from putting out fires. When did you stop and say, I think I just created the best bait ever?
Well, I had a lot of people telling me, how they used it. And I sold roughly 8,000 to local sports shops. And I didn't pursue it any farther. And I got home from the cabin one Memorial weekend, or Labor Day weekend, and there was a guide from Iowa that had left a message on my phone, and he said he used it and it outcaught his bait 7-1.
Oh, nice.
So he wanted to write an article about it. And he did, and it went viral. And just that next morning or Sunday morning when the paper came out, My phone was just vibrating nonstop. I didn't have a website. I didn't have nothing. So I'd be at home and start tying and all these people. I'm just taking the orders down on a pencil and paper, and I couldn't process credit cards, so I just say, I'll send it, you send me a check. And, I'm sending them out, trusting everybody. I only got burned once on that.
No shit.
About $19 is all, so that was pretty good.
Oh my God.
But then my son, he's a brainiac, and he set up a website, built a website, and set everything up. So now when you order, you just go to bimboskunk.com, and it gives all the products there. And
So let's back up for a second. Let's just talk about it. There's obviously a lot of variations, but let's talk about the base, the root, the basic Bimbo Skunk. Just talk us real quick through that.
Did you create it wanting it to look like something?
Not really. You're just using your materials. But I always wanted, for some reason or other, I always liked the stripe on the back, and that's how it got its name, the skunk, because the skunk's got a stripe. But basically, it's like this. But now, if you can see, I have a lead head. I tied my daughter, who's 40 now, Danielle. She couldn't fly fish. She was too young. So I started tying it with an 80th ounce jig head, and then she could cast it out and reel in. Well, pretty soon she was catching as many as I was. So then I started tying them on the jig head, and it worked just tremendous.
So so then that's how it all started, though, was as a fly.
Correct. It was actually a wet fly initially.
Okay.
No kidding.
Now I refer to that as unweighted.
So this one right here that I'm holding, what would you say, a half inch?
It's a 1/32 ounce
Turn and show.
with a size 8 hook.
And how long does it take you to make this one?
If I'm not bothered, I can cruise at 35 an hour.
35 of these in an hour?
I could hit 40. I timed myself one time, and I did.
So wait, no. So that's like, oh my God, that's a lot.
But I'm paying for it now because look at my wrist.
Oh, yeah.
And I had
what is that?
that's from tying.
Really?
And I had a cortisone shot here 3 weeks ago, and it didn't help.
Is it
So
like-
I can give you a White Claw shot.
perfect.
right in the arm.
No, I wanted these other ones.
Okay, so, and then these are primarily for what species?
All of them. They're supposed to be for panfish, but I catch a lot of trout on them also. But that one was designed for perch.
Okay.
We call it the perchinator. But everything just loves it.
Hey, that's a t-shirt right there. The Perchinator.
You can't make that shit up.
No, you can't. The Perchinator. Okay, so you got perch.
And this one, it's white,
Yep.
white body, white head, and a pink stripe. That one is called the blonde bimbo. Every man should have a blonde bimbo fishing with him.
Oh my God. And you get crappies, right?
When people ask which one works best for which, crappies typically like pink and white better than they do black or chartreuse.
Okay.
In this country anyway. So they like that, and now I found out that they just love the orange too. But bluegills like them all across the board.
Now, what's that one?
Is this is what I remember as like,
Okay, that's basically, I would call that a chartreuse pink. Chartreuse stripe with a pink head.
Okay. And you just sit in your garage? Or do you have a man cave?
I got a man cave, yeah.
Do you watch TV? Do you drink Cokes while you're doing this?
No, because I get lazy when I drink.
Okay.
So, but I got a man cave with, I got log cabinets and stuff I made, and I have a 55-inch TV there.
Yeah.
My wife gets mad because I listen to Judge Judy all the time. She hates Judge Judy.
I was going to say, so basically it's like the second half when Aaron Rodgers threw his third interception, and you're like, screw it, I'm going to go tie
Yeah.
75 of these.
Do you have one named the Judge Judy?
I should.
You should. We got the Judge Judy Bimbo Skunk right here.
But I started out, they were all 1/80th of an ounce. Okay. Well, then I had people that wanted larger ones. So I started tying this in the 1/32. So I have the whole selection across the board in 1/32. Yep. But the blonde and the perchinator come in 1/32 only. So then, now fishing up on the Chippewa flowage and drop shotting, I thought, why waste a sinker down there when you can have a bait? So I started tying them in a 1/32 ounce or 1/16 ounce.
1/16.
And then you open that if you want.
So,
Yeah.
time out. What's drop shotting?
Yeah, drop shotting.
Drop shotting is when you clip a sinker on the end of your line, and then you put a lure up higher, and you drop it down. The sinker hits bottom, so then your lure is up, so you know where you're fishing, right?
Okay.
So why have that piece of lead down there with nothing on it? So
So you're using a Bimbo as a drop shot.
correct.
Right, the 1/16 ounce up to a swivel. Oh man, I have no idea what this is. Up to a swivel, and then you have a smaller regular
Correct.
lure.
To start, the proper way to do it is put your line through the smaller lure, one of the smaller ones that's in the kit, tie on the swivel, tie on that much line, and then one of the drop shot lures, one of the 16th ounce.
There's pictures for you, Adam. So you know what a drop
If there's
shot
any
is.
writing, I'll read them for you.
No, I do well with pictures. That's fine. Okay. So, why do you do this?
So you can get.
So you catch 2 fish at a time?
You can, yes, quite often. Probably one or twice a day. I will.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, and
I've never done anything like this.
No,
Ever.
neither have I. We
That's-
met it. You know what? Our second episode might need to be with you, showing us how to do this shit.
okay,
Would you take
right
us?
out on the lake.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you have a boat?
I got a pontoon.
Oh, can we?
Oh,
go
that's
on?
That's
better.
on windfall, but
Well, that's better. Can we catch fish there?
oh yeah,
Can we drink beer there?
a lot of little ones. Well,
Well, that's
drink a beer. The fish don't start biting until after the second six pack.
Hey, wait.
Second
Chris
six.
Cruzy is calling Bimbo.
Are you
now.
serious?
Oh my God, we should.
Oh, have him call you
Chris
back.
Cruzy. Yes, he was just calling. Chris Cruzy was
Oh
calling.
my god. Yeah, because you were just.
He wants to go.
You don't know, Chris Cousy was on what? American Idol,
The voice.
The Voice, and he was like runner up or something
Yes.
like that. And you.
I just missed him.
Yeah, you just missed him. He was on there. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just showed me pictures before we started the podcast. Over the weekend, it's you and your son,
My brother Dick.
brother, and Chris Cousy.
Yes.
And you're all holding these ginormous panfish.
Yes. And now, when we were out, we had been doing real well, but that was one of those dream days.
Yeah.
Chris would throw out 1, 2, 3, pull. We were using fly rods, and he was using a bobber.
So you fish these with bobbers.
I
jig?
both.
Okay.
Okay, so let's simplify this question then.
Okay.
It's Sunday afternoon, and you just want to go catch a meal. What are you going to take out?
My fly rod. Right now, my fly rod.
Okay, right now, and we're late May, right? As this episode is recorded, it's late May. What about mid-July?
Spinning rod, because you're going to find them down by bottom.
Okay.
Because they want to go to cooler
And
water, right?
that's where even in Prairie Lake, the 12-foot max, that's where this would work, getting it down.
Okay. Because they want to stay in cooler water.
Yes.
Because the water gets really
Yes, and
warm.
they're done
Do
spawning.
you
so-
ever use live bait?
We put live bait on them once in a while, a chunk of crawler or a waxworm, but most of the time you don't need to.
But your tackle box, like, is all just Bimbo Skunk. Like, there's nothing other. You don't use anything else.
No.
Would you put this up against any other bait? Like this?
Sure.
Would you say this
Yeah.
is the best bait for crappies? Well, let's start with for panfish and perch.
Most of the time, yes.
Yeah.
There are certain times of the year, if something's hatching, that somebody's, if there's a bunch of tiny minnows they're feeding on, and somebody's using a beetle spin, obviously, that would maybe work better.
Yeah. Okay.
But then I'd throw on the blonde Bimbo, because it almost looks like a minnow.
Dang. This is so and then also you make some for hard water for ice fishing, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, they are.
Those are the ones with the metal, the steel ball.
They got three gold
Yep.
beads.
Why are those different?
They look. There's not usually that many big bugs in the water in the winter,
Okay.
so I went to these,
Okay. Nice.
and that's basically all I use.
So okay, here we go. So you've had this passion and you've been doing this since you were 16 years old. When did you say, okay, it's because you said on your webpage, you said you would make them, right? And then you just give them to friends, you'd give them to family. When did you start saying, man, I could really do something with this and start sending it around? Because now, today, it's around the country.
Yes,
How many bait stores today?
I don't know. over 100,
Okay.
all the way down to Missouri. I got one, and even in Georgia.
Okay. Yep.
But I'm getting, we've been advertising on Facebook Marketplace.
Yep.
I call it Spacebook. You notice I screw up words on purpose. But we advertised on that, and it just went nuts. So.
Oh, you better get home and start tying, because once everybody starts listening to this podcast.
I had a beer, so I got lazy.
Yeah, because and even like Shields. You go to Shields, they're in the Shields store.
Yes, I'm afraid of getting into a big box because I don't know if we could keep up. My daughter, she really does well tying for me.
Okay.
You know, so she's going to have our first grandson in July. So
Yeah.
Wait, so you're gonna be a grandpa?
Again,
Again.
no,
How many grandchildren?
I got 3,
Okay.
all
No.
girls.
Do they all get Bimbo Skunks
Yes,
for birthday, Christmas?
yes, everybody does.
Everybody does. So it's easy Christmas shopping.
Yes, and then we have white elephant gift at Christmas, so they try to figure out what Bimbo's putting them in. So this year, that's why this is so bad. This year, this spring, I'd really kicked it this winter, and I got my supply built up, so I had a bunch of jigs where the paint didn't turn out well or something. So I took them and I was supplying my family
Okay.
and other people.
So what's next with it? You just enjoying it, and you.
Yes.
I mean, are you kind of? Is there like a? Are you thinking succession with your daughter?
I'm sure they'll take it over. My son actually kind of would even maybe like to take it over.
Yeah. Yeah. That is, man. What? This is so cool. So, what advice would you have for somebody who has a passion, whatever it is, whether it's in sporting or just anything in life, similar to you, that just like, man, you carried this with you through your entire life, and then eventually you're like, I'm retired. I'm going to kind of take this on a little bit more. I mean, what advice do you have for somebody that would be looking?
Just grab a hold of it and go with it.
Yeah.
This was kind of a joke because I would do this when I got laid off, you know, just for a little beer money and that. And we're building bridges, and when it get close to layoff time, so it was a standard joke. Well, Bimbo, you ready to go tie flies next week? But it turned out well.
And look at this now.
The Bimbo helps sell them, and everybody has to order. They'll order these variety packs, which has the blonde Bimbo and the Perchinator in it, but they'll still order them on the side.
Okay.
I think not realizing they're getting that.
So you can get variety packs, you can get individual ones if you
Correct.
wanted to, and you can get what is this one?
That's a drop shot.
This is a drop shot,
A slip bobber.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's got the slip bobber in it for those who aren't watching, but there's a slip bobber inside of it.
And it has three swivels, three bobber stops.
Yep.
The bobber.
3 sizes, 8 fish catching patterns.
My son does all that. He's
Yeah. So you got to outsource all this then, right? Obviously, get the
No.
containers or no? You just order up containers, fill them up.
In fact, I had one where I shorted the guy too.
Oh.
We make them ahead of time, and my wife sits and helps. She helps me pack them, and then my son ordered the shrink wrap.
Yep.
So I just shrink wrap them.
You use your wife's hair blow dryer too to shrink it?
I got just a heat gun.
That'd be cool.
I used to tie years ago, and before I came out with this, you're experimenting, and I'd grab my dog as I walk by, clip, and
Yeah.
I even took my daughter's hair and made a streamer one time. Caught a trout on it.
This is awesome. Well, hey, as it's spring and we're moving kind of, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it's about 90 degrees in this garage. It's a little warm. So we'll wrap up here, but any kind of tips or tricks on where to find panfish, what's biting right now, where to find the perch, because we all love perch fries up here.
Right now, everything's in the shallowers. Other the perch are running deep, but actually not. They're running with the walleyes, which I've heard people catching them 3 and 4 feet of water on Prairie Lake anyway.
Oh, nice.
But most of the fish right now are right at the end of brush piles,
Yep.
and they're ready to move into shore.
Okay.
So I would guess with the temperature, they'll probably be spawned out by the end of the week.
So should we bleep out that you use the lake's name?
No. We'll get all the Eau Claire guys up there fishing.
Marshmiller. It was in Marshmiller. What's that?
He's not afraid of us fishing. His fish.
Your dad's a different story.
Yeah, my dad. Oh my God, that
We'll
is
be
awesome.
lucky if we can get the pontoon started.
Yes, we'll get it. Okay, so people can go to bimboskunk.com.
Correct.
They can order them there, right?
Right.
And you can learn more about Bimbo Gifford and the rest of the whole operation and his story, which is a cool story, but you shared pretty much all of it with us today, so that's awesome.
Yes, or you can even just call me. I have it right there. I get lots of calls, Pennsylvania, the Amish.
Okay.
Go over to the neighbors, they don't have computers.
Okay.
And a lot of people are surprised Michigan isn't computer illiterate either, or literate.
Yeah. So you get people calling up from Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
How many orders a day do you get?
That depends. One of my biggest days was a year ago Easter. In Saturday and Sunday, I had 56 orders from 21 different states.
Oh, okay.
Just because
Like right now, I think I'm running 10, 12 a day, 14.
that was Easter a year ago?
Yes.
Jesus is risen. Let's
Yes.
order a Bimbo Skunk. Let's go.
Well, hey, that's another T-shirt. Jesus with 2 bimbo skunks, just like this. Would be awesome. Well, cool. So everybody can go to Bimbo Skunk. We'll also put. Is it all right if we put your phone number in the show notes?
Yes,
If they wanna
absolutely.
call and-
Yes.
And order up some bimbo skunks and so forth. And well, man, Adam, you got anything else?
No, this was freaking cool.
This is awesome.
Because-
I want to.
I've had a blast doing this.
All right. Well, we got to get up this summer.
I know. We need to do
Will
an
you-
episode
will
on a
you
boat
be-
with
Yes.
you.
You'll be one of our small town sportsmen, where you're going to take us, and we're going to catch some on bimbo skunks, and you're going to show us how to do it. That'd be awesome.
What's your favorite way to cook fish? Just deep fry?
I do it different every way on purpose, so I don't get sick of nothing. Because one winter, 17 mornings in a row, I had them for breakfast. But I like the skin on them.
Yep.
So I got a scaler,
You
but if I
scale
scale it rolls like a hair dryer or like a curling iron,
Yeah.
and it's got claws on it. But if I did it here, there would be scales on that garage door.
Yeah.
You got to do it outside or inside of a box.
Yeah.
But about every 5th May meal, I will cut the heads off.
Okay.
And got them out the old-fashioned way.
All right.
Nice.
All right. Well, God, it's hot in here. This is awesome. This is good. All right. Well, we want to thank everybody for listening. We want to thank you, Bimbo, for joining us. This has been
Thank you for having
This has
me.
been a treat for us. This
Well,
has been really awesome.
For you to venture down
Yeah.
through the construction.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and to be here with us. And again, everything we talked about is going to be linked in the show notes below. Again, if you haven't already, we'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel right here. If you found this video just informational, if you had fun watching it, give us a thumbs up, turn on the notifications. And then again, if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, we'd love for you to subscribe to the No Idea podcast as well. You can also check us out on Facebook. And you can check us out on Instagram, and we're excited for all the new episodes to drop here soon this summer. Okay, well, good talk.
See you out there.
See ya. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good one, man.
Been a pleasure.
Boom!
No.